Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is our third day of Power Conference. And this is one of the sessions that I am super excited and energized to share with you. Being in a room, virtual room, with three fellow entrepreneur and those who are women. So they have built their own C-suite is absolutely amazing. I'm so excited also to share those who are actually in the audience and who have taken up the charge and said, I'm going to build my own kingdom. So there's so many women entrepreneurs in the audience also. I applaud you for your courage, and I hope so that those who are having already their businesses or planning to have the businesses learn something from this amazing panel. So let me introduce first myself, and I will let my panelists introduce themselves. I am Rupal Tanawala. I am the event chair of InnoPower Conference, but I'm also a women entrepreneur. I'm managing director of Trident Systems. We are IT and business strategy consulting firm focusing on SAP implementation and project management systems. So welcome everyone. I'll just go around in my window as I see everyone. So very first one I see on my right is Kathy Cabell. Hi, Kathy. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yes.
Kathy, go ahead, please.
Now, I was just going to tell a little bit about myself. Kathy Cabello. I'm president and CEO of Cabello Associates, which is a strategic marketing firm here based in Indianapolis. And I'm also a Hispanic business leader and really involved in my community here in Indianapolis.
Thank you, Kathy. Next is Lindsay.
Hi. Well, thank you so much for having me here. It's such a pleasure to be here. I'm Lindsay Chepkema. I'm CEO and co-founder of a company called Casted. We are a SaaS platform. We're marketing technology software made specifically for marketing teams at like mid-sized to very large enterprise companies to help them harness the power of audio and video content, much like the conversation we're going to have today, and to be able to use that as the center of their sales and marketing strategies. So that's who we are, Casted.
Welcome, Lindsay. And last but not the least, Denise.
So thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. I'm Denise Hurd, and I'm president of Hurd Strategies, and we are a full-service branding, marketing, and public relations firm, and we focus on quality of life matters, impact issues that impact one's quality of life. And I am so thrilled to be here and a part of this conversation with these amazing she-suite divas. So thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, all of you. And wow, you all have such amazing background and businesses that you have started. I really wish when I was young, I had someone like you who could inspire me, and kind of, probably I would have been in a different place. But those who are, thinking about how, I'm a young girl and, one day I want to do my own business. And, like today you said, oh my gosh, I wish someone like that, from my perspective, I wish someone like you I'd met when I was a young girl. Did you have that someone in your mind when you were growing up, or did you ever dream about being an entrepreneur? And, you all can three have this conversation as, you want to chime in.
So, Lindsay, were you going to go ahead?
No, I was going to say, I'm having trouble thinking about this. So someone else should go who already has a story.
So I actually did. I was in maybe my late 20s or early 30s, which was just last year. And a mentor in my life who is an entrepreneur said, you're going to have your own business one day. And I kept telling her, no, I'm not. And she kept saying, yes, you are. I know it. You're going to do it. And I told her no. And then when I started my business, of course, she was one of the first people I went out to talk to. And I remember sitting in her backyard having lunch, and she said, I told you so. And I said, you know what, you were right. And it was interesting because I admired her as an entrepreneur and how she was making such amazing decisions that were impacting our community and how passionate she was about business ownership. And I remember admiring her confidence and her strength, and thinking, when I grow up, I want to be like her. And little did I know, she saw something in me that I didn't even see. So I am appreciative of that insight that she had, planting that seed.
That's neat. And on my end, I never imagined I would be an entrepreneur. It's kind of funny. But yet I was at a crossroad in my career. I was being asked to transfer and move to a different city, state. And I thought, do I really want to do this? In corporate America, I loved what I was doing, but you kind of think, wow, do I really want to have somebody else dictating where I'm going to live? And at that point, I just thought, no, you know what? I need to lead my own destiny. And I just decided, wow, I think I can do this. And I did it. So it was a little bit more of a leap of faith, but more also that I was at a crossroads. But then I saw other women, I thought, wow, they're doing it. And it was inspirational. I thought, if they can do it, you know what? Maybe there's hope I could do it too. And so that's what I just jumped in.
Yeah. I had something similar. I was at a crossroads too, and I ended up starting my own business, not casted, but I was doing kind of marketing consulting on my own, and just kind of jumped in, just head first, like this is what we're doing now. And then got back into working in a company and working with the team. And when the opportunity to start Casted presented itself, I think both times it wasn't out of character, and it wasn't, I mean, I think when I was really little, talking about a little girl, I think this made sense. This would have made sense to me, but did I plan on it? Nope. No.
So what I'm hearing is, of course, Denise, you had somebody who inspired you, whereas Kathy, you just pivoted your career because of some professional career changes that you wanted to have. And Lindsay, you just did it because, you found a great opportunity. But when I was at that juncture, I think there was a lot of uncertainty. It was scary feeling. I said, oh my gosh, now nobody's going to contribute to my 401k. And, I may not even, because I have to buy my healthcare. I have to make sure that by end of the month, I'm able to run my payroll. Maybe I may not be paid. Well, that has happened, but at least I have to keep paying, So I think it was harder for me to just kind of get through that fear factor. And, you just sometimes, you have to cross that bridge and you have to get on the other side. What was your experience and how did you guys handle it? Because many young women are always struggling with this kind of a question.
Yeah. I think the uncertainty, that's really hard for me. I think, I don't think that I'm unique though. The uncertainty, I think, is the hardest part. I think especially as women, like we're always kind of expected to be in control, to know what's happening next, and people turn to us for answers. But that's also where, if you trust it, that's where a lot of the magic happens, because the uncertainty is there because it's up to you to create what happens next, right? And so getting comfortable with being uncomfortable is the beautiful side of it. But I think the most challenging part is the uncertainty. And absolutely, before leaving my role, I was a VP of brand and content at a global enterprise company before I started in Casted. And I have 3 little kids, and just what's this going to look like, and what is my life going to be like? What's their life going to be like? That was a big challenge, and that was a big leap of faith, and just trusting that it was going to be up to me to write that story. Was scary and exciting all at the same time.
And I agree with you, Lindsay. I mean, I think if I look at it now with years under my belt, I would have thought, what are you doing, Kathy? But back then it was more, just do it. And I had a little saying that I would tell myself, don't think, just do. Because if I would think about it too much, you do get concerned. Like you were saying, who's going to pay for my healthcare? Do I have a 401k? What about payroll? You start thinking about those things whereas you never had to do it when you worked in corporate America, but now you were responsible. And so I just kept plowing through. And I think you're right. You believed in yourself. You believed, I can do this. We're all in the service industry, so we don't have necessarily a physical product, but this is we come up with our product up here. And do I believe in myself? Absolutely. I know Denise believes in herself. Lindsay, I'm sure you believe in yourself. Rupal. So that's right there. That's the battle. do I believe in myself? Yes. Well, then I can sell myself and sell my thoughts and you get a good team together. And it is scary when you think about it, but I guess I wasn't really thinking about that. I just started my analytical side crept in and said, okay, plan, do, plan, do. And that's kind of how I pushed through and didn't think about it too much.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said. I remember while you ladies were talking, I remember once, this was years and years ago. Of course, you're always on the struggle bus. It's just sometimes the driver of the struggle bus looks a little differently and you're going on a different adventure. But I remember in my early days, one time I was really struggling. Like I did not know how I was going to make ends meet. And I was talking to my father about it and I was crying, and I was just really upset. And he said, Denise, maybe you should just, put this aside and go back to work. You'll go work for someone while you can figure this out. And I remember when he said that, those tears rolled back up in my eyes so fast. And I was like, oh no, wait a minute. No, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. No. And I remember saying to my father specifically, every entrepreneur that you see has a story like mine, that has a story like this. They didn't just wake up and it's like, bam, you're a millionaire. They have a story and this is my story. And I'm going to live through my story and stand in my story and keep pressing. And I'm so glad that I did. Mm-hmm. But I do remember that very, very vividly where, technically, if I didn't have the grit, I would have given up, but I just couldn't. I had to play it. I had to see it through, and I'm glad I did.
Oh yeah, that's so true. I think, Denise, as you were talking, I was thinking, oh my gosh, there were just days, and me and my husband would think, do you think we were crazy to do this? And what if someday something doesn't work? And both of us said, okay, we have skills, and as Kathy said, we are. Service industry and we can always go back to work and we can do something about it. But at the same time, some businesses also need resources, whether it's Lindsay, I know you have been on a constant fundraising mode versus Denise, you and Kathy have been doing this business for long enough that you have to have a regular new products. Although you are in service industry, I always see you pivoting from what you have been doing to introducing new products, or sometimes you need the funding and new customers. So how do you stay relevant? You need resources, new product line, and just staying relevant. I think relevance is really key here, because often, like you have to just keep on working. Like it's like sometimes I just feel that, we are into this kind of, this rate race, that you just keep on running, and keep on trying to do things differently. Yeah. So what are your experiences?
Well, we're all kind of by circumstance, we're all in and around the marketing and brand and strategy, which is all at the most foundational level, storytelling, right? And the best stories come from passion and from conviction and just sheer belief. We've talked a lot about believing in yourself and just moving forward and just not overthinking it, just doing. I think there's a lot of power in that. And there's a lot of, like Rupal, you mentioned fundraising. Casted's been around for a little over 2 years, and I've raised 2 rounds of venture funding in that time. And again, from this vantage point, looking back, it's like, whoo, that was a lot. But when you're in it, it's just like, just keep going, just keep sharing that passion, just keep sharing that conviction, because people want to get behind passion. People want to follow passion. People want to invest in passion, whether that's literal investment or that's becoming a customer or that's becoming a supporter or a mentor. And to me, and passion fuels passion. When you get someone else excited and they jump in and they get behind you, that makes you even more excited. And so I think that's a big part of it, is that passion and that conviction to keep telling the story and keep looking at how it can continue to be relevant and how it can continue to fuel passion in others.
I think passion is important. And it's like for us, the passion of learning, for us, that's really been big. healthcare, quality of life. We've always focused on that. When other people were focusing on different topics, we were focusing on an area like healthcare that seemed a little boring at the time. I mean, we're going to be 19 years old in August, which is crazy. So we're almost out of our teen years. Yeah. We might be getting married. No, I'm kidding. But 19, you think, wow, back 19 years ago, people in the marketing field weren't really that interested in healthcare. It seemed a little stodgy, but we were, and like you're saying, Lindsay, because of passion, we wanted to see our communities, minority communities that may have been disenfranchised and having healthcare issues. We wanted to see them healthy, living healthier lives. And so we started focusing on that, and really, because it was passion, it was for our communities. And when we started learning more and more and educating ourselves, our passion goes deeper. And then you start seeing the gaps, in healthcare. And now it becomes more of a passion of, I want our people to have better healthcare. And so it's a passion. And once you're always looking at that, and the industry changes, you're just changing right there because you're learning with them. And I think that's what keeps us relevant. You just keep learning and grasping more and seeing the needs and really wanting to help win those needs.
I think for me, I mean, and I'm sure these ladies can both attest to this, being a business owner and being responsible for your companies is lonely. Everyone comes to you for everything. I mean, everything. And it's hard because you want to turn around and ask someone, what should I tell them? And there's no one there. When you turn around, you just see yourself. So for me, I have to make sure that I am keeping myself inspired by putting people around me that I can talk to, that I can bounce ideas off of, because I think that we have a tendency, being who we are, to get mired down in the work and forgetting about the outside world. So I try and make sure that I'm having conversations with people that can understand what it's like to sit in that she-suite or sit in that suite, and the loneliness, the anxiety, and the excitement that comes with all of that. And then also getting out and enjoying yourself. I always say, Saturdays are reserved for Denise's adventure, where I just try and get out and do something that puts me around people that, you can talk to, you can learn from, you can get inspired by, that help feed your soul and also feed into the work that you're doing. So it's hard, and you need to find people and energy around you that can keep you motivated and keep you hungry and stimulate you to think of, how can I grow this? How can I pivot? What other opportunities are out there for me to, like I say, Gumby myself or Gumby my business? Remember Gumby, he can move in all those different ways. Well, you don't get that when you stay in one lane. You get that when you get out and have experiences and have adventures and have your soul fed. So that's important to me, to remain relevant and to evolve.
Yeah, and Denise, you make a great point, because it's so important to stay energized, because you feel very lonely. And I just feel sometimes, I'm cleaning up a PowerPoint presentation. Also, I am doing my my people's timesheet also. And the next thing is, I'm having a C-suite conversation, with my clients, But then one thing that I also feel, and I know all three ladies do a lot, so I want to highlight on this one, is, that giving back and being part of the peer group. I think that is so important. That's exactly what we are doing in this very specific conversation here. And I know that, Denise, you are very much involved with Central Indiana Women's Business Center at Indie Chamber. And I'm sure you all three are doing many things, but I'm just going to highlight based on what I know of you. And Kathy, you have been also part of course, the Indie Chamber, but also, you've been a past president of NABO. And I know, Denise, you have been also part of the NABO. So you two have been working very closely with Indie Chamber and NABO. And Lindsay, I know you have been part of High Alpha's Blue Angels, I think it's called.
Yep. High Alpha in general, their whole portfolio and all of the other companies and partners and resources. Yeah, and then they have a specifically women's group called Blue Angels. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I want to learn more about the initiatives where you have been part of, where you are able to not only just network and connect with other women leaders, but then also you are playing a huge role in mentoring those women, because I think mentoring is huge, and we have to hold on to each other, lift up each other, and then move forward. And I know you all three do amazing job. Just like last week, I remember you all had a women's forum. I'm just saying the wrong word. I think
yes.
Retreat. Sorry, thank you. So can you all three talk about how are you staying in touch with other women, but how are you giving back? I think that's more important. I think that's super encouraging. Who wants to go first?
I love what Denise has been doing. I'm watching what she's doing with the business retreat and just the business movement. So I want to hear about that, because I think she's been doing fantastic.
You're so generous. So I would not be here if it weren't for women business owners, even like Kathy, who I'm sitting shoulder to shoulder with in this conversation. She remembers when Herd Strategies was in its infancy, and she believed in me and, mentored me and advised me and coached me. And let me cry on her shoulders, and she fed me. I mean, there are so many women in this community and beyond that took time out to help me. And so it's almost like I can't pay them back individually, but by investing in other women and mentoring other women business owners and sharing my experiences, that's my way of saying thank you and paying homage to all the women that believed in me before I even believed in myself. So that's why it's almost like a passion project for me at this point, because if they hadn't done what they did as individuals and as a collective body, I don't think that I probably would be standing here, but I would look a bit different. The business would look really different, but they just really they spent so much time helping me that I just feel, plus I just think women, we have to do this. We just have to. And women that don't help women, I have no time for it. I just really don't. So that's why I said it's kind of like in my DNA, and it will always be in my DNA. It just has to be. I don't know if that addressed that, but it just.
Oh, absolutely. You're spot on. Thank you, Denise.
But Denise has been, up front and leading with a lot of the young women. But she's also been behind the scenes doing a lot. And I want to highlight that, because I think, sometimes it's easy to be in the front and be on camera, but there's so much work going on behind the scenes where these hands are getting dirty. And I know Denise, I've seen where she was doing presentations and working with the BOI, the Business Opportunities Initiative. And I saw her, and when she was giving of her time, and it's not easy, because you're dealing with 30 people and they're asking you lots of questions. And, she says, can you come in and do a session? Yeah. And I see her leading. I thought, wow, that's fantastic, because people don't see that.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of work goes in, where we're changing and impacting younger entrepreneurs' lives. And I think that's important.
I agree, Kathy. I just think for women, it's breaking down those barriers and creating environments for women to come together as a collective, because there's strength in numbers. And, we as women are about relationships and being in a safe place. And so where entrepreneurship is concerned, it's so ambiguous. As I say to people, I could write a mean press release. You need a marketing plan? I got you. But when it came to running a business, I didn't know how to do that. And so I needed someone to show me how to do that. And so with, as you reference these emerging business owners, I want to show them my story and tell them my story, so that, they see Denise, oh, Denise is so great, but they haven't seen Denise when Denise couldn't make payroll and couldn't pay herself. Like, I have a paycheck in my wallet right now that's dated 2009 that I couldn't cash because there just wasn't any money to pay me. So I still have that check, and I show them that check because when they see me standing in front of them, they recognize like, oh, if it happened to her and she made it, I guess I'll be okay. So I just think that's so very important to be that transparent.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think you said at one point that as women, relationships are so important. And for me, I didn't have a ton of that growing up, like in college and early in my career. And really recently, I went through something called Rise and Thrive. Rebecca Fleetwood Hession is a great friend and mentor and coach to me. And she put together this group called Rise and Thrive. It's like high achieving women leaders going through this thing together. And anyway, that was the first time that I really had strong peers that I could go to ask the super raw, vulnerable questions, and also celebrate and be like, I did this thing, and only you get it because you're fellow women leaders. And I think all too often, for whatever reason, whether it's us projecting or because people have told us throughout our lives that those relationships are a luxury, or they are frivolous, or they are a nice to have, but they absolutely are critical. Having people that you can go to and people that will hold you up and that will answer your tough questions or let you cry on their shoulder or just accept your vulnerability and accept your seemingly obvious dumb questions or your fears and prop you up as not only as a friend, but also as a fellow leader who believes in you. It's not frivolous. It is not a luxury. It is absolutely necessary. So yeah, I cannot advocate for relationships enough. It's so important.
I agree. And one of the things I've learned is transparency is really important, but also trust. And one of the things that I've learned is that there are those that you can share with and just be vulnerable and say, how do you do this? What should I do in this situation? This is not I'm in a tough situation. What do you do? And I've learned that the people that you turn to and that hold that confidentiality, but are honest with you, that is worth tons of gold. Yeah. But I have been selected and I have sifted because there have been times where the confidentiality has been broken, and so you learn. You don't get angry, but you learn, and you learn to trust those, and like I said, those relationships are worth more than gold. And
absolutely, no, that is so true, because having that trusted relationship, and sometimes I have those kind of trusted relationship with my clients also, or just going to I just know that they're watching me from the sideline, and they'll be the first one to tell me, watch out, you're going wrong, so no, I think I totally I'm in complete agreement with everything you all have to say. But I want to really probe a little bit on all the three programs that you all are part of. And Denise, I think I want to really ask you a little bit about your teaching experience, because oh my gosh, now you're even teaching. And Kathy, you can talk a little bit about how you're giving back with the Princess program also. But I want to hear about NABO, Indie Chamber, all the programs that you're doing, what it is, because, I think our attendees would like to know a little bit more about what are those programs and how can they be part of it? How can they also give back and be part of this great organizations you all are doing? And Lindsay, you can talk about Blue Angels, then.
Sure.
Kathy, I'll let you kick it off with NABO because
okay. I'll kick it off with NABO. And yeah, National Association of Women Business Owners. And I know that there's, different people have different thoughts and looking from afar what the organization is about. I think the thing about that I've liked and that I still appreciate is the ability to go into a group where the women are business owners and at various stages of their career. And I have learned a lot from the women. I think sometimes it may be intimidating and you may think, do I belong here? Will I be accepted? And my answer is yes. Every woman belongs there, every business owner. And sometimes you have to navigate. And sometimes, when I see a new person, when I'm involved, I try to bring them in. But my encouragement would be to step in and get involved. And I think you'll gain what you put into it. And I think it's a good organization for connecting, for gathering resources, for learning about how to do business. But I think that also you learn a lot from other women. And I think the SBA also, I did a lot of reading when I started the business, and because I like to read. And so I was like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And ask questions. And I think the organization is open to people to asking questions, but you have to step in and not be afraid. It is, like I said, it is intimidating because a lot of them are business owners who have been around for a while, but I think you step in. I was new. I didn't know what I was doing, and I just started asking questions. And I think that was, you find your place. So I think that is a really good organization to be involved in.
It truly is. It truly is. So I am a member of the Central Indiana Women's Business Council, which is affiliated with the Indy Chamber and the Business Ownership Initiative. But the Business Ownership Initiative of Indianapolis is housed within the Indy Chamber and is a wonderful resource for business owners and emerging businesses or emerging business owners. And they offer an array of workshops and courses to help you maneuver through this whole ambiguous entrepreneurial world. They also offer microloans for businesses, and because sometimes bank financing is hard to get, so they have loans that are available for as low as like couple $1,000s up to something a bit larger. So it runs the gamut, and their rules are not as stringent as bank financing, and some of their requirements for collateral or within your application aren't as stringent as banks require. So they are a great resource for business owners. And we're actually very blessed to have an organization like them in the Indianapolis community that is feeding into the ecosystem of entrepreneurship. But what's especially important, and my little passion with them, is the Central Indiana Women's Business Center, which is an SBA designation that they have earned that specifically targets cultivating and developing women business owners. And so I'm the past chair of the council, which serves in an advisory capacity to the center. And that's been awesome because we've actually created a funding component called the Jacqueline Troy Inspired Fund. And we just awarded our first loan to a woman-owned business here in Indianapolis of $25,000 that she will utilize to grow her business. And she also has access to all the programming and resources through BOI and the CIWBC. So that too is a passion project, but we should all be so grateful for the Indy Chamber and the commitment that they've made through BOI to grow business owners across the board, and the commitment they've made specifically to women business owners. And I've been fortunate enough, like I said, to chair the council, but also teach some of those courses as well, which I thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah, and Lindsay, I'll let you go, but thank you for giving all details about it, because today morning we had Mike Huber, who is the Indy Chamber CEO, on this panel in the morning, and we could not cover that topic. So, I'm glad that, you could speak about that one. And they also have, Hispanic Business Chamber also, yes. Right, Kathy? And I know you have spoken there many a times. I don't know whether you have been also part of that organization. So we do have many, I would call it more of an affinity group or a business groups within Indy Chamber that, everyone can find one that fits their need. Right?
Right.
So is there anything that two of you want to add, anything about the Indy Chamber and their initiatives?
I think that that's highlights.
Okay, no, that's wonderful. Lindsay, I'll let you go because I just remembered that, hey, Hubert had asked me that, make sure that we talk about this one.
That's awesome. Those are amazing resources. Kind of from a different angle, you mentioned High Alpha. Casted spun out of High Alpha Venture Studio, and their focus is all SaaS, so software as a service companies, and if that's kind of your realm, and then even if it's not, they have these speaker series. Some come out of Blue Angels, which is focus on women, but then just High Alpha speaker series in general, they bring in some really incredible people who speak about investing, entrepreneurship, growing a startup, things like that. So definitely watch for that. High Alpha's website lists all kinds of events that they have. But then another resource too, as I mentioned, Rise and Thrive, and there's something called the Badass Women's Council and Badass Masterclass that is all focused on women and women in leadership. I believe you can check that all out at wethrive.live. It's a great community. The whole focus there is community and getting to know other women. We talked a lot about relationships and peer groups and having people that you can go to and speak with. So can't recommend that enough as a great resource to get connected with others and build those relationships, whether they're geographically close or even across the country, just having people to go to. But that's at wethrive.live. And then also High Alpha is the one that has a great speaker series too.
And Lindsay, are those High Alpha series and Blue Angel talk shows are open to everyone, or do we have to take membership?
I believe quite often they have things that are open to everyone, especially lately. They make them available after the fact, online on demand. So there's some great resources that are already there. So.
Okay, so we talked about all the resources. How did you all start the journey? How are you giving back? But at the same time, how do you take a step back and celebrate yourself, take care of yourself? Because again, as a business owner, and I know what Kathy just said, hey, she's been doing it for the last 19 years. Lindsay, you have been just doing it too, but of course with 3 young children. And Denise, you have been also doing for a very long time. So sometimes we get into this mode of go, 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 and we don't pause and say, okay, how do I celebrate myself? And, or sometimes we're too hard on ourselves, So do you take time to say, hey, can I just work out? Let's put in, myself and my health at the priority, or, I'm just going to take time off because it's unwind myself. And that is very important because yesterday, somebody asked me about my vacation plans. And I said, well, the vacation that I take, I'm not paid, So, but at the same time, it's important. So I said, no, I'm going to take a vacation. I'm going to just, not stay on my emails. Of course, with their cell phones, trust me, people can catch us anywhere. But, still try to, stay away from, your computer and everything as much as possible. But everyone devises their own mechanism to just, celebrate themselves and do the things that they need to do. How do you ladies do that?
Accountability. Honestly, I mean, literally, it couldn't be better timing. I came back from vacation yesterday. So it's at some point somebody told me, look, if you do you want your team to take care of themselves? I was like, of course I do. Duh. No, they're not going to do it if you don't take care of yourself. And so it was, how things in your head, you even know them in your heart, but until somebody catches you at just the right time and says just the right words, it doesn't resonate. And I think to me, like, it's so important to me that our team at Casted and any team I ever work with takes care of themselves and takes a break, whether it's a walk at lunch or a week off for a vacation. You need to take care of yourself, because what we're doing is hard work. And we, as the leaders of the company, and anybody who's on the team with you, needs you to be able to, when you're sitting in your seat ready to work, they need you to be ready to work and ready to show up. And that takes caring for yourself. That takes time away. That takes sleep. That takes rest. That takes just thinking of yourself. And as a leader, the best way to get your people to take care of themselves is to lead by example. I mean, and we know that, right? But it's just so much more effective when you have people around you saying, hey, when are you taking a break? When are you stepping away? And how are you going to be really vocal about it? When you do step away, don't do it in silence. Put your out of office on, tell everybody that you're looking forward to vacation. When you come back, tell them how refreshed you feel. It's the only way, and it makes a difference.
I definitely make sure I take time for myself. Maybe not as often as I should, but I do. And I really, when I plug in the weekends, I really do, like Denise, try not to work. And I try to take the time off and do things for myself. I love to read, so I'll read. watch old movies, or go out for a walk. I mean, that's not high energy, but I definitely do those things.
So a couple of things. I haven't taken a vacation in forever. I've taken like little weekend jaunts, but not a true vacation. Of course, as a business owner, even though you're on vacation, you're not. And I think I may have been traumatized by my last vacation because all craziness broke loose while I was away and I ended up working the whole time. So then, when that happens, I'm sure you all three can empathize. You're scared to take another vacation because of what may happen based upon what had just happened. But ironically, I just hired a new account coordinator, and he just graduated from college. And before he started for me officially, he had been our intern, then he worked for us part-time, then we hired him. So in between that transition, he took a vacation and he went away, and it reminded me about when I was his age, and I always took my vacations. And then somewhere along the journey, you stop taking them and the priorities shift. But I love how he said, like, I'm going on vacation, and he went on vacation. And I'm like, no, I can do that. Like, I can do that. So I've scheduled a vacation for the end of the summer. But I think also, I know I'm so excited. So, so there was that. So that was my inspiration. But I think the other thing with respect to being the business owner and being the one leading, your health is imperative. You must take care of your health, getting your checkups, exercising. And so a couple of years ago, I lost like 70 pounds because I was like, I need to get control of my health. And so I'm sure my trainer would probably scream when she heard me say this, but I'm like willingly working out and exercising and trying to eat properly just so I can manage my health a little bit better. Because, as a business owner, you fall at the bottom of the list of priorities. And so that can compromise your health. And if your health is compromised, that could also compromise your mental well-being as well. And you're not able to work the business as you'd like to because you don't have the mental capacity or even the stamina to do it. So that's important to me now too, just making sure I'm taking care of my total being so I can be at 100% for my team and for my clients too.
So Denise, I may have to pick up the phone right after this we finish this panel to just get on how to lose weight, because that's another priority of mine. And I said, I need to start doing that. In fact, my son just said, Mom, let's do one thing. And we started playing tennis from this week, and just from one day I felt, oh my gosh, I can do better, But I think that was the best time. I think, I could just, I knew that I cannot look at my phone and I can just be in that moment, and I'm working out and having fun, and I come back with more energy, But then I need to definitely speak to you because that's one of my goals. I want to do more and more about it. So I'm going to have just a couple of questions for all of you. And we just talked about how challenging it is, of course, to be a business owner. And of course, we had our own journey, some twists and turns and everything. But is there any specific thing that you would like to share with our audience that why it was different being a women entrepreneur? Because we know that business ownership amongst women is not as high as it could be. Getting resources, funding is even more challenging. Getting contracts, like we are in the service industry, is equally challenging. So how do you see your business or your peers, it could be from your peer experience, that is slightly different?
This question's always hard because I don't know what it's like to not be a woman, right? But I don't know. I think it's in many ways there are obviously, just like with anything else, there are pros and cons. I know for me, I care a lot. I think about the people and the culture a lot. But that said, I have two co-founders who are men who, together we have prioritized the team and the people of Casted and the people that we serve above all else. And that has made all the difference in how I get to lead and how they get to lead and what Casted feels like. But I think, what many people see as like the difficulty can also be really the blessing of being a woman leader, and that you see things differently. I can imagine that you see things more through a human lens, and that passion that we've been talking about for this whole session is so front and center. It's who are we, what are we doing, why are we doing it, who are we serving, how do the people come into play, and yeah, sometimes that makes things more challenging, and sometimes I think that it's the secret sauce, right?
Mm-hmm. One of the things I've noticed as a woman business owner and leader is when I get into my very focused mode and very driven mode, that I'm not, I don't flourish in my words. In other words, I don't say, hi, how's your day going? Isn't everything great? I come in and I say, okay, what do we have going on? What do we need to get done, et cetera, et cetera. And I have found over the years that sometimes people are taken aback because they expect, this may be a stereotype, as a woman, I'm going to be flourishing in my words and, talking about all these other things instead of getting straight to the point. And my personality, and Denise knows me, I am straight to the point. I'm like, let's just get to business. And so, I think people sometimes don't expect that from me, from a woman. And as they get used to that, they learn. But, I've had to also realize that it takes sometimes even men aback of, I'm just very straight to the point. But that's who I am. So, sometimes people aren't ready for that as a woman leader. And sometimes I have to dance a little bit around that to kind of smooth in. But I have to remember that because that is not my natural tendency. And so that's been a challenge sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So that's interesting, Kathy. I don't think I think of myself being a woman or a minority even as an obstacle until someone else points it out to me. Like, I remember a long time ago when I worked for someone, my boss, I was in my evaluation and I was angry because I didn't get a promotion that I felt as though I deserved. So I was articulating why I felt as though I deserved that promotion. And I remember him looking at me and saying, Denise, you really need to be careful because, you're a woman and you're a minority and things just may not work out for you because of those two things. And I kept thinking, like, why is that a barrier for advancement? Why is that a barrier to my success? So I think sometimes as a woman, people expect you to be a certain way or to behave in a certain way. But when you look at your male counterparts who behave in a certain way and your behavior is not offensive or out of line or out of character, or it is in line with the culture, yet because you're a woman and people are making assumptions about how you should behave, I think that all the ladies can agree that's their issue, not yours.
Right.
Like, I'm here to get a job done. I'm here to service my clients. I'm here to grow my business. And, as long as we're yielding results, my being a woman or even a minority shouldn't have any bearing in this conversation whatsoever. But since you feel as though it's an issue, we're going to, I'll allow you 5 minutes to get over the fact that I am a girl, and now we'll keep it moving. So
I love that. Yeah. Speaking of reviews, one time when I was in corporate America, I was told that I have such high expectations of people that it's sometimes hard for people to live up to that. And I thought, guess what? I don't take that as a area for improvement. I'm going to keep setting high expectations. And so where they may have meant it for harm, I took it as I'm going to keep setting high expectations for myself and other people. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I absolutely, same. I've gotten the same feedback. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that, Denise, too, as far as expectations from other people. Mm-hmm. I often forget that too until you're reminded.
Exactly.
I think as women, we are told it's not how, it's so often the feedback you get. Feedback is not about how you're doing the job. It's about who you are.
Yes.
You're too aggressive. You're too nice. You're too this. You're too that. You're not enough of this. You're too loud. You don't smile enough. And it's just, I think at this point, it's been something that I've dealt with throughout my entire career. But when you are the leader, you have to be so grounded in who you are, because those shots are going to get more and more personal. And you've just got to be able to stand up and say, this is it. This is me. Right. Yeah.
I agree. And you know what? And I think as women start just being who they are, And others will start realizing that. And I think the younger women will start seeing, and younger men, this women are women. It doesn't matter a person. We all have different personalities, and we all have the same ability to do well, and we're going to come at it differently.
I agree. And even to go in like another direction, with this, I remember once being told by a gentleman that when I, along with a couple of other of my colleagues, come into a room, we're a distraction. And so I was like, why am I a distraction for you, young man? You know, I'm here to conduct business. I don't know what you're here for, but clearly we're not on the same page. So you need to come on to the right page, because I know who I am and why I'm here. Do you? So, you know, it's just very interesting being a woman, and the things that are said to you. Like, it's okay to say certain things. And then, like, would you say that? Would you want someone to say that to your mother or your sister or your daughter? So remember why we're here and what our end objective is, and then we'll be okay. You know, yes, I'm a woman. You know, I was a girl at one time, but I'm a businesswoman, and that's what we're here to focus on.
Oh my gosh, I was given, once a feedback that, so I have a personality to take care of my team and, being the one who looks after everyone and just caring personality. And I was told that, you seem like a soccer mom, but not a business executive. And I said, yes, I can be stern and I can be very assertive. But at the same time, I also think that I want to take care of my team. And, I received a negative feedback for that. And at another incident, or rather, maybe it's unique personalities, I've seen many a times when I walk into the room with a certain group of people, you are not heard or you're not even visible. And all of a sudden you just see, do I even exist? Am I even here? And I think that is more hurtful because, of course, you are contributing to the team. You are trying to, make an impact, and you're totally dismissed, right? So, oh my gosh, this is a great conversation. And I know we can go on for probably another 1 hour. I'm getting a signal that we have only 3 minutes. And I want to know from all three of you, if there is in 1 minute, if you can tell me, what is the one piece of advice you can give it to our viewers who are either a business owner or who want to be a business owner?
I'll go just kind of, I usually say be comfortable with being uncomfortable, which is, okay, I'll leave that there. But I think based on the conversation we were just having about feedback, I think if you are aiming to be a business leader or business owner, or you already are, be really, 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 really careful that the feedback you're giving is about the work that's being done, not about who the person is. Because as we can see, it makes an impact, and that's not what it's about, right? So, that's my 2 cents.
I think for me it would be, if you're interested in becoming a business owner, get ready for hard work, but also the joys, and just ride the ups and downs and look for the positive, because they will be there. And then the other thing is, if you walk into a place and you feel like you don't belong, I'm here to tell you, you belong.
True. I would say stand in your truth. Always stand in your truth. No one will love your baby as much as you do. That's just how it works. And then the other thing is to always think about your business like your lover. As long as you love on it, it will love you back. When you're with someone and you neglect them, they misbehave. So make sure you're always loving on your business so it will love you back, because if you don't, it will misbehave. So always stay in love. And if you find yourself falling out of love, go to counseling, figure it out, and keep pressing forward.
I love it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And that's a wrap. I think I made lots of notes, but I think my 3 or 4 takeaways were, I heard about is, be passionate about what you do. And of course, as Denise just said, love what you do. Surround yourself with women like-minded and the one who can either mentor you or to whom you can mentor. I think it's very important to do both the things. Third thing is, there are going to be there will be people who will criticize you, give you the feedback, but you know who you are, and keep marching forward. And last but not the least, it is a fun experience. It's not easy, but take a first step, and then the second step will follow. So be courageous. With that, I want to wrap our C-suite leadership conversation. These three women have encouraged me, empowered me. Often I've gone back to them, I've collaborated with them. And so I know personally they are much bigger personalities than what you heard about them in this 1 hour session. Connect with them on a LinkedIn. That's the one thing about this InnoPower conference. We want all of you to connect with each other, reach out to them if you have any questions. And please continue listening to our other sessions for rest of the day, and tune in tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. also. Thank you very much, Denise, Lindsay, and Kathy, for your time and valuable advices.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.